Feeling burnout in your 9 to 5? Wishing you had more control over your schedule? Tired of wishing you'd be like your favorite reseller content creator? Let's trade in that cubicle and turn your hobby into a full-time hustle.
We all know that pursuing a side hustle while juggling a day job can be very challenging. So over the next several minutes, we're going to share some valuable insights and real-life advice, including actionable steps and practical tips on how to turn your hobby into a full-time opportunity.
Hi, I'm Heather.
And I'm Alicia.
And together we have 2 separate eBay stores specializing in men's apparel.
When we first set out on eBay, it was just to generate some extra income for us and help finance our fertility journey as we grew our family. We had no idea that it would turn into what it is today.
Yeah. We've been married 3 years, and during that time, we've started 2 businesses, allowing me to transition to full-time while working towards the goal of Alicia making that transition as well.
Taking the leap can seem overwhelming and scary, but knowing your numbers, setting measurable goals, and hard work can help you achieve that dream. While initially we were a little nervous on how to transition our side hustles into full-time selling, Heather's done it successfully, and we saw just how achievable it was to make that jump. And hopefully we can share some tips along the way to help you guys as well. Please feel free to share some questions in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer some at the end of the presentation.
So knowing your numbers is the most important thing. As it is with any business, knowing your numbers can help you make really good decisions within your business. So for us, that means utilizing a good bookkeeping system. We use a simple Excel worksheet, but you can utilize Google Sheets or QuickBooks or any kind of other kind of system like that that helps you manage your numbers and know where you are, keep up with your accounting, but you're able to make informed decisions about your business, like when can I make this side hustle into a full-time gig? Just those types of decisions, keeping up with your bookkeeping, keeping up with your numbers, that's the most important thing that you can do. And then helps you make decisions on, am I picking up the right things? You know, what do my trends look like? All those types of things are really helpful within your business and making important decisions. eBay gives you a lot of awesome tools. We specifically like using underneath the performance tab. There's the sales tab, and that gives you a lot of information, and you can customize that to be what were your daily sales, what were your weekly sales, monthly, quarterly, and so on. Whatever you want, any other kind of information really that you want is seen there, and it just really helps you know those numbers so that you can really make informed decisions.
Learning trends within your eBay store is also very important, and it's crucial to your success as a seller. As we first started to realize that we could grow this business into something really awesome that would bring us both home full time, we wanted to not only sit down and look at our numbers, but we also wanted to really sit down and look at the trends. And when I say trends, I mean what items are seasonal versus what items are year round. So whether that's certain brands that you pick up at certain times of the year and certain brands that you know will sell consistently throughout the year no matter the season. For example, one particular brand of shorts do really, really well for us in the summer. And as we started to learn those trends, we realized because those do so well in the summer, but they also do okay year round, we want to really ramp up and pick those up in February, March, April, so that we have lots of them to sell during the summer season. And then once the summer starts to wind down, we start to pick them up a little less often unless they're a really good price, because we know they're going to sit a little bit longer. And that's why it's helpful to be part-time for a year to help learn that and really learn how to analyze those trends and profitable brands. And then also learning and mastering your high and low months and quarters and how to make that successful for you so that you don't immediately start to panic and you feel comfortable as you have some of those inevitable downturns in certain seasons and certain months.
Yeah, it also is very helpful to know your specific numbers. So knowing your own trends so that you can make informed decisions within your own business. So you might see other people that sell similar things, but you know they're having a great month or they have a great fourth quarter, and maybe you sell used clothing and fourth quarter may or may not be that big, versus if you're having toys and new products, fourth quarter can be like your best month. So it's like knowing your specific trends, knowing your numbers really helps you understand, like, you know, oh, these are why my sales look like this, and you make more informed decisions.
So having that allocated weekly and monthly budget also is going to be very crucial to you being successful, because we all know that when we first start out, you're working with typically a limited budget. So with that being said, making sure that if, for example, if you have $400 that you can spend each month towards inventory for your business, how do you allocate that? Is it $100 a week? That's a great way to start so that you can keep yourself accountable and then also make sure you're a good steward of those financial resources that you're using. So maybe do I pick up, now knowing that I have $100 a week to spend, do I pick up that $10 item, or do I maybe go for the $4 or $5 item to help kind of conserve my budget for that week? Also, we all like to laugh when we talk about those death piles, but they're super important because what tends to happen is as those death piles start to pile up, it gets harder and harder to get the energy to tackle. And then as a result, it ends up just sitting there stagnant. And you have to remember it's not making you any money. So you always want to make sure you have a nice little healthy, tucked away set of inventory for things like slower sourcing weeks or months or when you're going to be on vacation. But it's super important to make sure that you avoid those really big death piles where you have tons of items sitting there collecting dust because it's not generating any revenue for you or for your business.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's also really helpful for us that we found to niche down. So we weren't always just solely, men's apparel and selling clothing and shoes. We also dabbled in a lot of things when we first started. But niching down allowed us to be more productive and also to, really have a process that was seamless. It was able to work within our inventory, our shipping processes, but all those things really helped us make decisions on like, okay, when we niche down and we're selling men's clothing, it's so much easier to store within our inventory, which we're still out of the house, so we have limited inventory space. It's easier to ship, but these are all decisions that you make on your own trends and things like that. But niching down lets you really learn your product and know that you can make decisions within your business. A neat tool that we also use is called the eBay calculator or the eBay fee calculator. This is actually found outside of eBay, but it's a useful tool that we use starting off where we were able to learn each item. So we do line by line and have that specific, what did that specific thing sell for? What was the shipping cost? Then therefore, what was my total profit? It also is really neat because it allows you to see specifically the eBay fees. So you're able to put in what your store level is and which one you pay for, so that it's able to best calculate your eBay fees for you. But either way, it allows you to learn what's profitable. Should I be picking this item up more, or should I not be? Yeah. More so now that we've grown, we like to work in averages, so we don't get hung up on individual items. So we're not like, oh man, I shouldn't take that offer, or maybe I should. But this allows you to make this decision because you're working in averages. I'm taking my average cost of good, my average sale price. Under eBay sales tab, you're able to use the sales tab to see a specific time frame, like I've said before, where you're able to look at a month or a quarter and find that average for yourself, so that you're able to use the calculator to work in averages. So when you get an offer, you're like, hey, can I accept this offer? Is it within reason for me? Am I making that $10 or $20 profit? Whatever fits within your business model. But it's a great tool to help you be able to make those decisions.
For sure. So most of us have the same fears and apprehensions when it comes to navigating the financial piece of transitioning, big part being benefits. Health insurance is a really hot topic, and it's honestly something that we are still navigating as we work towards me coming home full-time and we welcome a newborn next year. There's lots of different options out there for you depending on what kind of coverage you need and how much you're able to spend. But I would suggest your first place to stop would be healthcare.gov and looking at what different options they have available, while also looking at some of the big commercial insurance companies and seeing what individual plans they have available. Yeah. Another thing to consider is, how am I setting myself up for my financial future and for my retirement? With that being said, one of the things that you can do is you can sit and you can talk with your accountant, with your tax person, and then also look at what different options are out there, like stock options, your Roth IRAs, and then how you can best build a good, strong retirement fund.
Like she kind of briefly just mentioned, another benefit that you have to think, especially as you grow, but even as you have a side hustle is taxes. So when you're a full-time employee, your taxes are taken out of your payroll. You don't really have to think too much about it until, of course, end of the year, tax season, when you have to submit all those, all that stuff. But when you're growing your business, or when you even have a part-time hustle versus then even more importantly when you have a full-time, is that you have these taxes to worry about. And so no one obviously really enjoys that. But for us, it was finding a good CPA, one that kind of specializes more so in e-commerce, to help us make informed decisions within our business. It helped us. We've always been an LLC, but most people start as a sole proprietor. So it helps you make, when is it wise for me to move from a sole proprietor to an LLC, to an S Corp, or other decisions like that, but also to when should I be moving from paying my taxes once a year and having a really big tax bill to maybe doing it quarterly or sometimes even monthly. You can set that up and your CPA can help you make those decisions. Another benefit that a lot of people make, and it's like when you're becoming an entrepreneur, is not having that PTO or that paid time off to where you're able to have those days that you're able to enjoy and it's still getting paid for. So although eBay doesn't necessarily give you days off that are paid, it does give you this awesome opportunity to where you're still able to run your store and have it live and making sales when you're away from it. So you might have to take a couple days off for medical things, or you're going on vacation. eBay allows you to still have your store on and you're still able to make money during those times.
And it's been great for us recently as we've done a lot of traveling this past year. It's been nice to sit at the beach and be able to decide if we want to manually list those items from drafts or utilize those scheduled listings. And then also using the pre-automated eBay response for time away, and making sure that if people have questions or inquiry about your items, that they're able to get that generated message that you are out of town or you are away until you're able to come back.
Yeah, and so eBay gives you the tools, like I kind of briefly mentioned, where you can schedule listings ahead of time. So you can schedule listings out for 3 weeks, and so that's a great tool that it's more of a hands-off that I don't even have to really think about it. You have to work ahead of time, get those scheduled listings done before you go on vacation. But once you have them scheduled, you don't even have to think about it anymore. You're just, they're going live for you. And so like she said, you just have to worry about maybe answering questions, or again, you don't have to do as much, but again, as active as you are on eBay, the better your sales are. Another tool you can use are draft banks. So draft banks actually stay within the draft bank for 75 days. So that's a great tool. The only thing, the disadvantage compared to schedule listings is that you actually have to go in and submit your draft in order for it to go live. So either way, they're just really neat tools for you to be able to set up on when you go on vacation for up to 15 days, that you're able to put your store on vacation mode or time away mode.
Yeah. Knowing your personal expenses is also super important as you set your business goals. How much do you realistically need to make to cover your bills and pour back into your business? For us, one of the big things that we wanted to make sure of is that we had a good savings and rainy day fund, and then also just a good separate account for personal expenses so that we had some extra cushion as we needed it. One of our big goals was to make sure that we had 3 to 6 months worth of our personal expenses in a separate account that we don't really touch. So if something were to happen, or if anything happened with us medically, or we had to take some time away from the business, that we weren't panicking or having to pull from other pockets of money to make sure that we could cover our personal expenses. Also, having a strong savings and a rainy day fund was great for us as we started to make this work on towards making this transition, because it provided us a little bit of cushion and peace of mind as we make this our next step in our journey. Also, including your partner and your family in those plans is super important for you. For us, it's a little bit easier because we both understand the business. We're both resellers. We get what we're working towards. But a lot of times, if you have a spouse or a partner that's working a full-time job, they may not understand how you're going to sell on eBay and make that a full-time job and give up the consistency and the security of a 9-to-5. So I think them being able to see those benchmarks and see those goals that you guys are working towards, I think it gives them a little bit more comfort and makes them understand better what you're working towards as you make that transition.
Having a schedule is also really important. So this applies to us in terms of like having that weekly schedule planned out. So we've recently gone through a fertility journey, and then now with pregnancy, we have a lot of appointments and unexpected things that come up. So we like to fit that into, we like to look at our week and be like, okay, let's pencil these things in first, and then we're able to use eBay to work around that. And that's the best benefit really for us, which is why we wanted to make this transition, other than a lot of other reasons why, but specifically you have better control over your schedule. And so eBay allows you to be able to do those types of things that you need to do in your personal life, but then still able to work on eBay when it's best for you. For us, I mean, staying consistent on the site as well.
And for me, my schedule's a little bit different than Heather's because I work a full-time job and still juggling my eBay business. So with that being said, I tend to spend a lot of time outside of my 9-to-5, whether that's evenings, weekends, early mornings, working on my business. It's not easy, but I like to say that I clock out of my 9-to-5 and clock into my 5-to-9. So what that means is I'm constantly, when I get home from work or first thing in the morning before I head out for work, is I'm sending offers, I'm promoting my listings, I'm doing my listings, I may be sourcing inventory, things like that. And it's not easy, and it takes a lot of discipline. But what I constantly tell myself is that I am making the sacrifices now so that I can have the flexibility and the freedom in the future when I'm home full time. And it's important to remember that this is still your business. So you want to make sure that you put as much as you can into it, because when you're consistent, eBay is consistent.
Yeah, that was the most important thing for us. So what consistency looks for us is that we set a specific listing goal every day that we have to achieve. So that's holding us accountable, kind of like your 9 to 5. You have to show up every day. Showing up to our eBay business is staying active on the site, specifically listing new inventory every day, but also making sure we're quick to ship within a day, that we're answering questions that come in or sending offers as soon as we can, and that all those things help you in your eBay algorithm. So they're pushing your items up, so you're making more sales. But staying accountable, making sure that you're treating this like a business. This is your business. So you want to make sure that you're meeting those listing goals and just staying accountable to your business. Another great thing that we like to think about is like, especially now as you go full time, is like, what's another source of income that I can have? What's something I can do that allows me to almost have like a side hustle to now my eBay store? You can even start this as a part-time eBay seller. A lot of people do. But it's just another source of income. So it gives you a little bit more comfort and confidence in your business. So like when you're having some slower months or times of the year, that you can fall back on these sources of income. For me and for both of us really as healthcare employees or previous healthcare professionals, we're able to work as contract employees. Some professions allow you to do that, meaning that you can pick up, seeing patients or doing jobs or things like that on the side that allow you to work in your own schedule now that it's busier and eBay's your full-time business, but it's a little bit slower, so I can pick up a little bit more to be able to have another source of income. So that's a great benefit within our own profession and maybe many others out there, but not everyone has that option. But it's just another side hustle option that you can consider. Another thing is just being a content creator. So a lot of people do that, and you're able to just, film your days and things like that, and you're able to eventually build up followings and then get monetized. So that's a great way to have another source of income. Some other things that you consider are things like real estate investing.
I'm going to be honest, it's going to take a lot of work. So utilizing those resources that are out there, and there's a plethora and a wealth of information out on different social media platforms, things like YouTube, and watching some of those videos so that you can learn more about the business, be able to learn more about brands, trends, what sells, what doesn't, so that you can be as successful as possible. Joining some of those different reseller community groups that are out there on different places like Facebook, Discord, things like that will also help you be successful and allow you to network, because most people don't understand what we do. So being able to talk to other sellers that do this every day, that understand the trials and the tribulations, that understand the things that you're working through is paramount. And it's important to note that we spend a lot of our free time right now. We've made a lot of sacrifices along the way to grow this to the point where Heather could be home full time and I'm not too far behind her. And like I said earlier, it's important to remember that you are working towards something. So taking that discipline and work in that consistency in the beginning is going to be great, because once you get that flexibility and that freedom, it's all going to be worth it. And then also continually checking in on your goals and your progress to not only hold you accountable and make sure that you're working towards and doing all the things that you need to check off of that list to make that transition, but also to be able to motivate you and see how far you've come along your journey.
So the key takeaways we want to leave you with is to remember that knowing your numbers, setting goals, and hard work really help prepare you to make this transition into a full-time income. Not many jobs provide you with the opportunity eBay does to not only grow yourself financially, and that's exponential. Some people are only used to getting a 2% raise every day, or every year, I'm sorry. And eBay allows you to make that transition to where I have control over how much money I really can make. But it also gives you the autonomy over your own schedule.
And not only that, but it allows you to have experiences and opportunities like this, and from a few months ago when we were featured on a Seller Spotlight. Here's one of our clips, and afterwards we'll answer some questions.
Thank you. We have separate stores within our eBay experience, but even our niches are similar. She focuses a little bit more on shoes, but I do men's clothing solely. She also does different menswear. So often when we're out at thrift stores and shopping, we will definitely be in the same area.
Sometimes we'll find ourselves looking through our carts, going through what we have, and we're kind of fighting over that one really cool, really unique item. Sometimes we have to rock, paper, scissors it. So most of the time she wins, I feel like.
My name is Heather.
My name is Alicia,
and we are eBay sellers. Alicia and I met at work. We are both healthcare workers. I'm a physical therapist assistant and she's occupational therapist assistant, and we both worked in a rehab hospital.
And we became friends, and it just kind of blossomed into something really, really cool. We went to the same high school. We were a year apart. I was 1 year ahead of her. So when we first met, we started talking to each other and getting to know each other, and we realized we went to the same high school at the same time, and then somehow ended up working in the same job together too.
Alicia and I have been married for 3 years.
I had been scrolling online and social media during the pandemic and stumbled across some videos about reselling. Now I'm big into sneakers, and it was talking about how you could resell your shoes that you have at home. We took our first trip to a thrift store locally just down the street from our house. Took a look at it and we said, okay, maybe we can give this a try and just play around with it and see what happens.
It just started as a hobby, but then we learned quickly like the opportunity that had, and so financially it just has helped us overcome a lot of things, especially with our IVF journey.
We just said, we want to look at doing something that will allow us some flexibility as we grow our family. So it's been really amazing to find success doing something that we love, because we never thought that eBay would take off the way that it has.
When you start in eBay, everyone kind of dabbles on different things, and you learn like things that you want to ship, you want to work with. As you learn the brands, you learn everything, you really like niche down, and you become passionate about it, because it's like you find cool things, you kind of learn what your buyers are interested in, or this will sell well, or this looks awesome, and so that part of it you become passionate about. It's been just awesome to be able to provide that.
We first got into it not knowing quite what it would turn into for us, but it's been so awesome being able to grow not only one, but 2 successful eBay businesses within the same household, allowing us a lot more financial freedom, while allowing her to transition to full-time with myself, hopefully not too far behind that.
Recently, we've been on a fertility journey, and so eBay's allowed us, especially me, have this flexibility and this time in my schedule that I'm able to take the medications that are required at specific times, that I'm able to go to appointments that are often a couple a week. eBay you can do it whenever you want, whenever it fits into your schedule, and that's just really important to us, and that's provided this awesome opportunity for both of us.